All right, YouTube. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching this from. This is the Parlay Parlor. It is Friday, February 20th, and we have another slate of NBA games ahead of us. Let's have a brief recap of last night before we get started with today's card. This is what we like to see. Decent start back after the All-Star break. Quite frankly, maybe you could be looking at this some type of way and consider that this should have been a sweep. Unfortunately enough, Knuppel dagger three to cut the Rockets' lead down to 4 points. They win 105 to 101. We get hooked in that regard. But other than that, I mean, the rest of the props were, I don't want to say sweat free. Anthony Simons, he had 10 points in the first half, but zero assist. It seemed as if he was being a bit of a ball hog, especially when Toronto went up, I think 11, 12 points. But late third quarter, early fourth, the Bulls kind of pulled back a little bit, made it a little bit interesting. But that made Simons come in late, not late, but in the third, in the fourth quarter. He had a great third quarter, actually, 17 points in general leading up to the fourth quarter. He got a 3-minute assist, take us right over the line at 21. For what it's worth, Josh Giddey did end up playing, and this line did close at 19.5. So while it did suck to, maybe not beat the closing line, I mean, like I said, this was a line that I was perfectly fine with him taking in points alone. Funny enough, he covered it exactly in points, and he just got me the one assist. And in the Boston Celtics, like I said, I don't know why this was offered so low. They ended up winning by 11, from 121 to 110. But like I said, I had no doubt in my mind this could have ballooned even further, even in spite of Kristaps Porzingis making his debut at the Bay. Very weird seeing kind of a front court of Porzingis and Al Horford when it's not in Boston. I mean, I know we saw that fleetingly last season, but now it's very weird. But in any case, 2 in 1 day on the night. I am going to try something new where, yes, we're going to go with the three straights. I will also give you a fourth pick. It's not going to be officially put onto the spreadsheet, or it probably will be. It's Friday. I have work in a couple of hours, so let's kind of just see the best way of doing this going forward. The idea would be it's going to be kind of a watered down. So for yesterday, an example of that would be, yeah, we had the spread for the Rockets. The money line was pretty, I mean, it was juiced, but as a parlay piece, I think it was like minus 156. Not bad odds. Anthony Simons, they even 20 points and assist, and then the Boston Celtics money line, which is like a -2. It was like -200, I think, at closing. Again, not the most to write home about. I think it just comes out to like a plus 350 parlay, but that hit yesterday. So I think going forward, whatever picks I have, of course, like I say, run them as straight, run them as a 1 unit, 1% of whatever your allocatable bankroll is. But we're going to try to see if, hey, maybe if we can't get the organic sweep, we're going to force it somehow. With that being said, we only have 3 props tonight. Let's get started. Well, let's have a brief recap of what they're exactly going to be. Again, we have a bankroll of 500. We're going to put 1% of that. 1% is roughly $5. The idea is over a long term, you win more than you lose, you'll be in the profit. So the 3 props for today, we're taking the Cavaliers spread against the Hornets, minus the 6 points. We're going to take the under in the Miami Heat Atlanta Hawks game, 243.5. And we're going to take Jeremiah Fears, 17.5 points and assist. Comparably priced decently well. Again, I don't know how consistently I'll be able to promise you odds of fair value or as close to fair value as possible. But like I said, if we do get anything abnormally juiced, I'll probably make its own subsequential parlay piece. All right, with that being said, let's get started. First prop of today, I know I know. The one prop that cost us the sweep, I'm pretty sure, like I said, I'm 0 for 3 when it comes to um capping against the Hornets. And so again, heed this with caution. If you just want to maybe fast forward 5 minutes onto the next prop, I wouldn't blame you. This could definitely have a little bit of emotional bet into it, but I have to get these bastards. I'm sorry. For me to see the spread yesterday get chalked by 1-3, yes, Charlotte, great job. They can go on runs. They can make things very dicey. They were ahead for long spells of the game against the Rockets. The Rockets are still in a bit of disarray. They got over the line, but they just barely got over it. I honestly believe once this Hornets faces a team in which, yes, Rockets, I'm not saying the Rockets are not contenders. They, of course, are contenders. That's why they've gone after Kevin Durant. But they're not the finished product. We can't say that they're one of the front runners in the West. I think once Charlotte goes up against a team that we can categorically and collectively look at and say, yes, they are not a quote unquote dark horse, but they are the front runners. We can definitely see them going, not if not to the NBA finals, we see them going to the conference finals. Guaranteed conference semifinals. I think we get that with the Cavaliers team. Yes, both of them are on a back to back. I understand that. But we have again, we're still talking about the likes of Diabate and Miles Bridges out. And thank God Grant Williams did not get no assists. I just looking back on that video, I think that just screamed like a prop that I would force just due to the value of it. But in any case, we have a fully healthy Cavaliers team. Dean Wade coming in at small forward, yeah, sure. I think Jalen Tyson, you're gonna see very handy minutes for him. The honeymoon between Harden and his new team, as expected, like usual, it's going well. We would like to see this continue, especially since we're going against a Hornets team. They're on a back-to-back. Yes, against the spread, it doesn't look too good for us across the last 10, across the last 20. If you want the only caveat I can give you, in the last 20 games, the only teams that they didn't cover a 6-point spread, Detroit, you could say heavy favorites to at least make it through the East. The Cleveland Cavaliers, again, like I said, categorically, you want to see someone to make it through the East. And this is still after the turn of the year with that renaissance that they've had. And Golden State, I mean, I want to say this is Golden State with Jimmy Butler still. This is Golden State with Jimmy Butler. Yeah. This is one of the last few healthy Jimmy Butler games, I think, before he got injured. Clippers, again, they've been one of the best teams since the turn of the year. I think genuinely speaking, yes, I'm very stubborn. This is a very stubborn line, trying to just hammer and be on the right side of beating the Hornets. I think we're on that right side today. 6-point spread. I mean, the trip from Cleveland down to Charlotte isn't the most daunting at all, especially in a game that the Cavaliers themselves, I think they won against the Suns. I mean, against the Nets, like it was like 110-84. Very convincing win from Cleveland standpoint. Granted, the Charlotte Hornets versus the Brooklyn Nets. Yes, the Hornets probably have the better collective unit. The Nets are purposely tanking. I again the same notion that I went with last night when the Hornets went against the Rockets. We're just looking at two teams. I'm going to pick the healthier team and the team in less disarray. I'm going to lean that same way again. I have to take the Cavaliers. Again, I mean, I did say yesterday I probably might be coming on here tomorrow morning with egg on my face. I am coming with egg on my face this morning with trying to take the Rockets spread. Unfortunately, hey, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting the same result. Name one genius that ain't crazy, right? Had to shout out Kanye there. Cleveland minus the 6 points. I mean, this is a line that's already starting to shift. Yes, it's open at 4.5, but it's at 6.5 now. I mean, especially with Evan Mobley back, you have a front court of Evan Mobley and Jared Allen against Grant Williams and Kalkbrenner. I think the less said, the better. Let's move on. Cleveland minus the 6 points. I'm okay with that. The watered down line for this, I'm not going to take a money line at minus 230. You could take the money line at minus 230. We're going to take the first half money line at minus 180. This is what we're going to do. This is what's going to be on the quote unquote watered down parlay that if we don't get a sweep, hopefully this covers us. All right. Our second prop for today, we are going to take a look at the Miami Heat versus the Atlanta Hawks. We're currently looking at an under here. I think this might be the first under I've taken in a game. Yeah, this might be the first under I've taken in a game. We're going to go for the under 244. So 243.5. You can get this priced fair value across all the books. This is a line that is shifting, which is why I like it. First and foremost, I mean, it opened at 241. I want to say 242. Yeah, it has bumped up to 243. The first thing about this is something that across the season, I think both of these teams are hitting across the under. I mean, only 38% of games and 40% of games for Miami and Atlanta, respectively, that they've been able to go over 243. Even in their own head-to-head matchups, I mean, we could go back to 2024. I mean, but again, we're not going to go that far back, but at least this season, the last two times they met each other, that faced each other, they've had a total of 242 and 237. Tyler Hero potentially back in our lives. He has a probable tag. Norman Powell questionable. Even if those two do come back, that's part of that's sort of the logic that I have around this. If Tyler Hero and Norman Powell come back today, I mean, especially in the case of Tyler Hero, yes, there will be a minutes restricted on him, assumably. There's going to be a lot of shots chucked up. I think a lot of the reason why Miami, I think they've played at they play at a pretty fast pace. Yeah, they played the fastest pace in the league this season. No slouches at all. I think in comparison to the Hawks, they play at the first and the second pace in terms of offense, respectively. This isn't the Miami Heat team of a year ago, 2 years ago. Eric Spoelstra, I mean, of course, Tyler Hero, when you have such a ball-dominant guard out for so long, and especially once you trade Jimmy Butler, in terms of dominating in half-court sets, that kind of mitigates a little bit, and you do have to have that collective unit of sorts, a la Toronto. That's coming to a lot of, yes, the Heat love to drive the ball. Like I said, they play with the fastest pace in the league. With Hero coming back for has small of a sample size as we'll get for that, I like it. I genuinely do like it. 244. They're both on a back-to-back. I mean, actually, they're not both on a back-to-back. Atlanta's on a back-to-back after they beat the 76ers yesterday. This is Miami's first game back. I wish there was a little bit more nuance I can give into this to you. It's just that when I saw this line open up this morning at 242, before I went to sleep, and then I woke up, it's at 244, 243.5 basically. So 244. I still like it. I think this line is just high. Yeah, I know it's a East Coast game, Eastern Conference game. Those can always be very very interesting, especially when you're talking about two teams that are playing with the top two pace factors, respectively, in terms of an offense. Atlanta, they do have a clean bill of health. Jonathan Kuminga just hasn't made his debut yet. Probably won't see him for the foreseeable future. This is going to be a good game. It's going to be a tight game. Hopefully enough, it is a tight game. Not too tight that we get overtime. But 243.5, I think this is the highest total we have across the slate today. Yeah, 243. Highest total, yeah, that does maybe indicate an over per chance, but I just can't get behind an over for a team that they haven't hit that across the last 10 and under like this. I mean 10, they only hit this in 10 out of one of the last 10 games for Miami and 4 out of the last 10. I can't get into this even if you stretch it out across the whole season, across the last 5. This total is just too high for me. I mean, I can see this dropping back down to 242, maybe 241 and a half, close at that. The watered down piece for this, if I am to offer one, again, I don't want to just throw shit at the wall and see what sticks here. If I have a actually, how about this? For the watered down, look for the comments. Um, I'll probably come out with the quote unquote watered down parlay probably in the midday. There's no rush in terms of beating a line since we're probably going to be taking some juice on it. Potentially, it could come from a player. How did Jalen Johnson do if he had a triple double last night? I typically don't like to touch him. Ooh, assist you and create not too good in points. 32 points. Wow. Alexander Walker. Alexander Walker's assisting that bitch, huh? Pardon my French there. I'm sorry. We'll come back. We'll come back with what the water down would be, like I say in the comments. But right now we are gonna take the under 244 and a half or 243 and a half. So basically 244. Um, I can definitely see this going up to 244 or up or down in any direction, honestly. Um, with that being said, let's go off to our last prop of today. We're taking Jeremiah Fears for the points and assists. We're going for 18 points and assists. I love my points and assist props. And the rationale behind this one, it's a shrinking window of opportunity, I guess, is the best way to put it. First and foremost, let's just look at the two biggest things about this: Trey Murphy and DeJounte Murray. DeJounte Murray, obviously, he hasn't played at all this season, but it's expected that he will be getting playtime imminently within the next couple of weeks, maybe less than that, maybe a week or so. I think I was looking at one of the beat reporters on X, and I think the head coach said that it's very likely quote is very likely we're going to see DeJounte Murray on an NBA court very soon. Again, very soon is subjective. NBA court itself could be very subjective. This could just be for warm-ups. But DeJounte Murray is still out. Trey Murphy, he's potentially out. He did exit the game against Miami with a shoulder injury. It's speculated that they're probably going to exercise some caution with him. With that in mind, my idea would be that not the idea. Jeremiah Fears is going to step into the starting lineup. So for 17 and a half points and assist, I just can't. Of course, there's going to be a lot of red when you look at it, but it's just the minutes that he averages. When we look at the last 2 games that he's played, or especially just the last game, because that's when Trey Murphy came out injured, but the last 2 games that we can look at, he's played 30 minutes, 30 minutes in both games. We can ignore the 28 against the Timberwolves because they roared back against them. When we look at the field goal attempts, again, this is a system play. This just comes down to whether or not Trey Murphy suits up or not. I hope he doesn't, because the numbers look phenomenal for us. I mean, in the 2 games without, and in the 1 game without Trey Murphy, he shot 18 shots. Yeah, he only made 6 of them. You're taking up 18 shots. I'm at peace with whatever happens after the fact. Potential assist, I mean, 13 potentials. He converted 13 potential assists into 8. That's the volume we like. 8 potentials to 3 assists. Sure, but still he covered what we needed in the points. This is a line that I see it going up. I mean, it opened at 15 and a half, which has me leaning into the notion that Trey Murphy is not going to start. So you're going to have Jeremiah Fears as the main started as the ball dominant guard in this lineup. this is going to be, like I said, system play. If Trey Murphy is out, Jeremiah Fears is the primary ball handler. Jeremiah Fears, in terms of assistant to the likes of Herb Jones, Sadiq Bey, Derek Queen, Zion Williamson. I want to say you're looking at one point guard with four, maybe not catch and shoot guys, but they're spot up shoot scorers, I would say. Every single one of them, besides maybe Sadiq Bey and Zion a little bit when he wants to, dribble into you like you're a brick wall over and over again. But all of these guys, I mean, Jeremiah Fears gives you the ball. Unless you're giving it to someone else, if you're taking a shot up, it's going up in less than 4 dribbles. I initially was under the 4 assists. I wanted to go for his 4 assists, but I just thought about yesterday when I went for Anthony Simons and he only got 1 assist and the bulk of it was covered in points. Same thing as, his points line is 13.5. Again, very, very soft line on a Jeremiah Fears. Yes, the rookie himself hasn't had much to write home about this season, especially since the turn of the year. I think at the start of the year, he was everyone's favorite rookie. Of course, Cooper Flagg and Conklin pulled out for Rookie of the Year votes, but of course, there was some money to be made off of this kid at the start of the season. With Trey Murphy out, hopefully, like I said, if Trey Murphy is out, this is what we're going with. If Trey Murphy does end up playing because it is doubtful if they upgrade him, yes, this is very much well in doubt. In which case, I hate to pivot, but if Trey Murphy does play, I would probably pivot over to Kevin Porter Jr. points and assist. But as of right now, Jeremiah Fears, 18 points and assist. I'm loving it. You can get fairly fair value across all the books. And if we look at props madness, well, actually, you can get it on FanDuel for 16.5. I like the 17.5 at closer to fair value. Or is it? Yeah, I guess 17.5 on DraftKings. 15.5. So you can go 16, 17.5. I guess the watered down will be 17, 16.5. In any case, just look in the comments for what that quote unquote watered down parlay will be. But 17.5 points and assists for Jeremiah Fears. If you look at the usage that he's having, yeah, he's averaging around like the low 20s, but in his last 2 games with Trey Murphy out, we can comfortably probably notch him up to just 20 minimum. We can look at Trey Murphy. We could take the usage away. Small sample size. There's only been 4 games this season that he's played without Trey. 4 games this season without Trey Murphy. He's gone over this line in 3 out of 4. And even in the 1 game against the Hawks that he didn't cover that line, he shot 3 for fucking 11, which is crazy. You just make 2 more shots. I think we're a little bit happy. 2 more shots, this gets us over the line. We look at where he likes to score. Jeremiah Fears, he's a rookie. He's hungry. He's going to get his shot any way he can. When we look at where he likes to assist, again, you have a lot of spot up, catch and shoot guys on this Pelicans team. You do have a Derek Queen in the post up, Zion in the post up that you can get there. And you have a Milwaukee Bucks team who is maybe just inside the perimeter. They are somewhat of an elite top 10 defense. They are middling to just about bottom 10 when you look at every other metric. So again, when it comes to Jeremiah Fears, 17.5 points and assist. This is a line that I see this definitely closes at 18.5, probably 19.5. Especially if we get a guarantee, like a guaranteed tag on Trey Murphy not being in. This could definitely, I would be shocked if this closes any south of 20.5. It's 19.5. With that being said, if you're still here after 25 minutes, I do appreciate you taking time out of your day to listen to me ramble on these props. We had a great, well, let me not get too ahead of myself. We had a good start yesterday. Hopefully, we can continue it today. The three picks for today are going to be the Cavaliers minus the 6 points. We're going to take the under 243 and a half, and we're taking Jeremiah Fears for over 17 and a half points and assist. If you're, like I said, if you're still watching this, I do appreciate if you could like, subscribe, comment what you're rocking with from today's card, comment what you're not rocking with. Like I'll always say, help me, help you, help me, make us some money. Um, Gamble responsibly, gamble what you're willing to lose, gamble what you can afford to lose. And like I'll always close off every video, may the odds be ever in your favor. Have a blessed day. Peace out.